Hey everyone, welcome back to Malaysia in Focus, where we break down the stories shaping our nation. We're told a pretty amazing story about how much Malaysians read. But what if the numbers behind that story, well, what if they just don't add up? Today we're getting into the great Malaysian reading mystery.
All right, first up, let's look at the official story, the one that paints this really impressive picture. It all circles around one specific and very optimistic number.
And that number is 24. Yep, 24. According to the National Library's latest study from 2023, the average Malaysian apparently reads 24 books a year. I mean, on the surface, that sounds pretty incredible, doesn't it?
And when you look at the journey, it's wow. For the longest time, from 1996 all the way to 2005, we were stuck at just 2 books a year. 2. Then something big happened. By 2014, it shoots up to 15, and now 24. That's a 12-fold jump in less than 2 decades. It looks like a massive national success story.
But here's where things get a bit tricky. Is this amazing number the whole picture, or is there something else going on with the data?
Because when we start looking at how Malaysia stacks up on the world stage, a completely different picture starts to form.
And here it is, the heart of the whole mystery. Our own national survey says 24 books, but then you look at international rankings, and they put us at just 5.5 books a year. That is a massive gap. So what's the real number? Are we reading 24 books or barely half a dozen?
Now, to put that smaller number into perspective, just look at our neighbors. In ASEAN, Singapore is at almost 7 books. Thailand and Indonesia are ahead of us too. And Malaysia? We're at the bottom of this particular list with about 5.5. So, according to this global data, we're not just trailing, we're kind of last among these countries. That really doesn't fit the whole 24-book story, does it?
So, what on earth is going on? Is someone lying? Well, no. The answer isn't about which number is right or wrong. It's all about what we're actually counting. It's a classic case of quantity versus a different definition of reading.
Okay, so here's the big reveal. It's what's called a methodological difference. See, our national surveys, they have a really broad definition of reading. They count journals, digital articles, magazines, basically everything. Think of it like this. It's counting every snack, every appetizer, every little bite you take throughout the day. The international surveys, though, they're usually just counting the full meals, the actual completed books. And that right there is the aha moment that explains that huge, confusing gap.
And if we break down our national number, you can see this in action. Of those 24 books, 16 are print, sure, but a full 8 of them, that's a whole third, are digital materials. This just confirms our number includes a much, much wider range of stuff. Now, if this breakdown has given you a clearer picture, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button so you'll always stay ahead on Malaysia's biggest issues.
Okay, so now that we kind of understand the numbers, there's a deeper and honestly a more important question. It's not just about how much we read, but how well we understand it. And when we look at our students, a pretty worrying trend starts to show up. People are starting to call this the student literacy paradox. You see, students are technically reading a lot for school, to pass exams and get their assignments done. But at the very same time, their actual reading comprehension, their ability to really dig in and understand what a text means, is actually going down. This really drives the point home. These are Malaysia's PISA scores, which is a big international test for reading skills. Just look at the drop. We went from 415 in 2018 down to 388 in 2022. That puts us below the international average. And look, this isn't just about grades. This is about our future workforce, our ability to innovate, and to think critically as a whole country. And here's a big clue as to why this is happening. A recent survey found that while a huge 80% of students have good reading habits for school, almost a third of them, 28%, don't read for fun at all. Reading has become a chore, a task for school, not something you do for pleasure or curiosity.
And this isn't happening in a vacuum. There's a really important social angle here. A report from Finco shows that your family's income plays a huge role. Students from lower-income households are way less likely to read for fun, often because of simple barriers like not being able to afford books or not having access to libraries and other resources.
So with all these challenges, the confusing numbers, the falling comprehension, what's the plan? Well, Malaysia actually has a very ambitious goal to try and fix this. The government has launched something called the National Reading Decade, or the Dekade Membaca Kebangsaan. It's a huge 10-year plan that runs all the way to 2030, and it has one clear mission: to really, truly transform Malaysia into a reading nation.
And the target they've set is, well, it's massive. The goal is to get the average Malaysian to read 40 books per person per year by 2030.
But this time, it seems like it's not just about hitting a number. The big shift here is moving away from a numbers game to building a real, genuine culture of reading. The strategy is all about quality, not just quantity. It's about making reading accessible, putting reading corners in shopping malls and even mom shops. They're also pushing digital platforms like Upastaka and, this is the most important part, trying to build a love for reading from a very, very young age.
And to finally solve that measurement mystery we started with, a new tool is on the way. It's called the National Reading Index, or NRI, and it's set to launch in 2026. Instead of just counting books, it's designed to give a much more detailed scientific look at who is reading, what they're reading, and how well they get it. This should finally give us a much clearer picture. Thanks for sticking with us through this. If you want more clarity on the issues that matter, join the community. Tap like, hit subscribe, and let's keep making sense of this together.
So as we aim for this big goal of 40 books a year, the real question we have to ask ourselves is this: what does being a reading nation truly mean? Is it about building a nation that just counts books? Or is it about building a nation that reads to understand, to challenge, and to build a smarter future for all of us? That, I think, is the real story we all need to be watching.